What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the live stream today. Happy Monday. Hope you guys are having a great morning so far. Man, the market is actually doing pretty well today so far. I'll definitely take some of this movement back to the upside here. It's definitely looking hot. Thank you for joining up, George, Keisha, Vicky, Jamie, Peter, Hunter. Thank you guys so much. Let's go. Stocks are doing pretty good today so far, I should say. Nothing too crazy with the SPY or anything like that, but I will say like DraftKings was doing pretty well in pre-market. I saw X was up like 3.4%. We also even have Netflix actually making a pretty good move here today in pre-market. So we're seeing some pretty good movement across the board with some stocks. Now, a lot of my watch list is down in the red, unfortunately. Looks like Twitter is kind of falling back down. I know obviously Elon Musk, he put the Twitter deal on hold as they investigate all the spam and bot accounts and everything. But either way, Twitter stock is all over the place. So be very, very careful with Twitter stock here. But, so far today, not too bad a movement out of DWAC, which is like Twitter's competitor here. It looks like Truth Social is getting another boost back to the upside, up 7.7%. So, it looks like DWAC is getting that momentum while Twitter is kind of still like stuck, in the mud here. So it's actually kind of interesting. I know that it doesn't make any difference because obviously market cap is what really matters, but it is interesting to see that DWAC has a higher share price than Twitter. That is pretty funny. Although, like I said, obviously the market caps are going to be way different and Twitter's is going to be a lot larger. So keep that in mind, but it is interesting to see how they're kind of moving today. Good morning, Sean. Thanks for joining up. George says Robinhood is dipping. Let's go check that out. Good old Robinhood here. Wow, yeah, you're right. It would look like it was holding up pretty well actually around in pre-market heading into open here, but then we had that huge candle to the downside now. Definitely not what I want to see. But what I will point out, George, is look on Friday. Looks like Robinhood had a very similar red candle right down to the $10 support. And then it kind of bounced right off of there, and we got to move right back to the upside. So do keep that in mind that we are approaching a huge support there at $10 with Robinhood. And I think it's going to be pretty tough to break below that. It's going to be a really tough support. Obviously there's been bounces there in the past, so just keep that in mind. $10 will probably be hard to go through here. But, I'm noticing some stocks climbing up my watch list today, like SoFi, SOFI, looking pretty hot. I mean, it looks like it came down a little bit at open, but look at this thing in pre-market. It was up like 3.4%. And ever since the market opened today, it's just been really consolidating here around $7. So curious to see if this one ends up holding up or sliding back off to the downside today. Definitely interesting moves in pre-market here. And that IV started shooting right back up today when the market opened, back up to like 100%. So definitely big moves out of SoFi today. But most of my watch list is now going back down into the red. Some of these bigger growth plays like Asana, Square, man, poor Square is down 4.9 or 5%. They're giving back all those nice gains from last week, which sucks to see, but hopefully they hold up a little bit more. But look at Square, guys. I mean, it's falling down now below $80. Well, it's kind of straddling 80, but it looks like if it breaks 80, we might end up falling right back down to 78. After that, there's a pretty big support down around 72. So, man, I'm really curious to see where Square could possibly go. I don't even think that this is going to be like a possible thing to see here. Let's see. Bravo says, good morning, guys. What do you guys think about I-bonds from Treasury Direct? Buy from U.S. Treasuries directly. They are now offering guaranteed 9.2% inflation protection rate. I bought a few this month, and remember, you can't take these bonds back till over a full year. Yeah, I know, Bravo. Yeah, there's all types of different rules with different bonds, obviously. There's all types of different bonds out there. But I will say, bonds are generally pretty good to get into. Like, they're pretty safe, Bravo. So, that's pretty good. So as long as you are comfortable holding them, like you said, you're going to keep them till maturity. So as long as you're comfortable holding them until they mature, then, I think you'll be okay. Just keep in mind that, there's a bunch of weird rules with bonds. So definitely look up everything involved with the ones you're talking about, the I bonds. But just keep in mind, lots of big stuff with those. I will say regarding bonds overall today, it looks like TLT is starting to dip back down a little bit, which is kind of interesting. Can't believe that's happening. I wonder how TNX or the 10-year treasury yield is looking today. Let's see this one on the daily. Yeah, it's kind of holding up here around $30 a little bit. Nothing too crazy. I know this doesn't really do anything with bonds being TNX, but, you know, it definitely affects them a little bit being the 10-year treasury rate there. But let's see. Real says, yo, what's up with BBIG today? The last day for TYDE dividend. Huh, Real, I don't even know that. Let's go see BBIG, though. Let's see how they're moving today. Wow, look at that IV over the past few weeks. That is insane, actually. I wonder if this one was flying up with AMC or something the other day, because that IV started flying up a lot, up to 500%. I mean, what was that? But wow, that is insane. I'm not too sure, Real, on the Tide dividend, but I'll be honest, BBIG is just one of those like growth plays here. I don't think it's too crazy. You know, obviously BBIG, it's been talked about a little bit over the past couple years, obviously, and it had those big moves to the upside, and it seems like it does have big moves as we continue here. But just keep in mind that, you know, this stock is very volatile. It's like a penny stock, and you know, if you can catch it at the right time, though, I think it can definitely be worth it. Just keep in mind, it's nothing too, I guess, like hyped up right now. I just don't see any good momentum. For example, like if I look at like a 180-day, 1 hour chart, I feel like we had a lot of momentum like a couple weeks ago, and now that's slowly starting to die back down. I will say, though, we're getting close to support, so that could be a pretty good thing to look at, I guess, if you're looking at it off of a nice support bounce. But either way, thanks for pointing it out. I haven't talked about BBIG in a very, very long time, so thanks for pointing that out. Let's see. Bravo says, yes, agreed. Thanks, Tom. Lewis says, big earnings this week. What are your opinions on where the market would go? So, yeah, you're right. There are some pretty big earnings coming up. I have a feeling that the market is just going to stay stagnant down here, maybe between like 410 and 390. I don't think we're going to see anything too crazy. You know, we might see like another move down, in my opinion. I would lean to the downside if I had to choose, but I will say I think the market will start to pop up here eventually. I think we're kind of nearing the bottom of this downtrend, which is good. So hopefully that's a good thing to see there. But yeah, the market overall is it's been kind of stagnant the past, like, I guess you could say like 4 trading days. Like we had that dip down to 385, but then we came right back up, and we've just been consolidating right around $400. So I think we might see more consolidation here. But let's go check out some of those big earnings. You know, I know you mentioned that there's some big ones coming up this week, and you're definitely right. There is some big ones. So today after close, we actually can see SNDL is going to report. So if you guys are interested in the marijuana plays at all, I think that SNDL could be really cool to look at here. So that would be a really nice one maybe for tonight if you guys are interested in earnings. Personally, I don't play earnings, but Sundial is reporting. Also, Take-Two or TTWO is going to report, and as we know, they make Grand Theft Auto. So keep in mind, there's been a lot of news lately revolving around GTA 6, and I think that there's been a little bit of an uptick in, I guess you could say, like in popularity surrounding GTA 6 lately. I feel like that I've seen a little bit more of headlines and stuff, so definitely take a look at TTWO. That's a big gaming stock there. But then Tuesday before open, we have Walmart, Home Depot, JD. I mean, those are some huge stocks there. Like Walmart, Home Depot have definitely been huge value stocks this year. C has been all over the place. JD is one of those big China stocks. So yeah, we have some big ones reporting. Even Wednesday, we have Cisco, Target, Lowe's. Thursday, we have Kohl's. We have Applied Materials, AMAT. Looks like Friday we'll have John Deere, Foot Locker. So it's not a huge week with earnings compared to the past few weeks, but I will say it's definitely a big week here. My favorite stock to look at this week is probably going to be like Cisco. I think they'll have a pretty big move Wednesday as long as they report good numbers. And whenever I look at Cisco on the daily chart here, CSCO, they are really beaten down. So as far as earnings go this week, I think Cisco will be the one that I keep my eyes on. Johnny Leverage says, NVIDIA shares at this level, or shall I wait? Oh, that's a pretty tough one there, Johnny. But I will say, if you really like Nvidia, definitely think about it. I think that Nvidia shares at this point could be great. They are really far off their all-time high. You're getting them at almost like a 50% discount right now, which is awesome. There is that big support down here around 150 though, so keep that in mind. I would not be surprised if it like retested that eventually. But I will say that I like Nvidia at this price point, and with it being such a highly touted tech stock, I would definitely entertain picking some up down here around 174. Like if I was in your position and I didn't have any Nvidia yet, I would probably start to average in here, maybe like 10 to 20% of my overall position. And then if the stock keeps going down, I'll just keep averaging into it. But great question, Johnny. I think that a lot of people should be looking at some of these bigger tech stocks like Nvidia, AMD, even Salesforce, like CRM. Like as these stocks are dipping, it's making some pretty good opportunities. So I hope people are taking advantage of that. Even the bigger bank stocks are at great price points. Like, look, you could grab JP Morgan at $118 off their 172 high. Now, I know obviously like if something happens like, in 2008 or something, then obviously the bank stocks could have a pretty bad crash, but keep in mind that there's the chances of something like those bank stocks crashing that much again are very, very low. So just keep that in mind, but I do like these, which is nice. Real says that's from TYDE. Sean says AAL is not looking bad. Let's see that. AAL, American Airlines. Wow, that's kind of popping back up today. 1.3%. It's actually not looking too bad, Sean. You're right. Yeah, it's not looking bad. It's on the 5-minute chart starting to break out. So, hey, I'll take that. AAL, DAL, LUV. Looks like they're all starting to pop back. Even good old Boeing's back in the green today. So, great point there, Sean. Bravo says, curious, what do you think about Goldman Sachs forecast today? They cut the price target on the S&P from 4,700 down to 4,300, and Morgan Stanley mentioned about buy low at 3,400. Crazy bearish. Wow. Yeah, Bravo says Goldman Sachs made forecast. Okay, so wow, that's pretty big there, Bravo. I mean, 4,300 is very, very low there. So I don't know. I mean, obviously 4,300 still up above where we are now, which is good. But as we know, if we go to that max daily chart, 4,300 is pretty far below that all-time high. So, I mean, that is pretty crazy there, Bravo. Can't believe that it's that they have those types of forecasts coming out. That's nuts. And Morgan Stanley says to buy low at 3,400. That would be insane, Bravo, if we got down to there. I will say, though, like as far as a charting standpoint goes, I really like to look at this 1,000 SMA, Bravo. And as we can see, like whenever the market takes these bigger downturns, like we generally move into that 1,000 SMA at some point, like we did with the China move down in 2018. We did it again with the COVID drop. So honestly, I wouldn't be too surprised if we did maybe come down to like 3,500 or like 3,400 or something. Personally, I don't think that's going to happen, but it definitely can. There's a big possibility. And like I said, that 1,000 SMAs came into play a lot of times in the past during market crashes. So keep in mind that we could get there, in my opinion. I just don't think that that's too possible at this point. And it's not something that I think that we should be like betting on, for example. But like looking at the SPY, that's the same story. Like if they fall down, like if SPX falls down to 3,500, SPY will be down around 350. So hopefully we don't see that happen and SPY sticks up here around 400. That would definitely be the better way to go. But I will say the market's still dipping a lot. Like in SPY's case, from high to low here, let's take it from the high to the low. Like let's just say 480. Or like let's still say 479 down to where we are now. It's like a good like 16% drop. And at the low here, we were looking at like 19 to 20%. So keep that in mind that it's been a pretty big pullback here. Like 20% on the SPY is pretty big. Now we have had times in the past where the pullbacks were just as big or bigger. Like the pullback with China was also right around 20%. And then the COVID pullback was somewhere like 35%. So I guess you can look at some of those and maybe draw yourself to some conclusions, but either way, it's definitely interesting to look at the SPY and these indices. Thank you for pointing that out, Bravo. That's a pretty big thing to look at. Let's see. Real says we're waiting for tomorrow. The Fed speaks. Yeah, he does. You know, Powell's going to be speaking. Just keep in mind, Real, that whenever Powell talks tomorrow, I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy. As we can see here on the calendar, well, here's the Federal Reserve website to make it easier. You can see at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, he'll be having a discussion at the Wall Street Journal Future of Everything Festival. So keep in mind that it's not like he's going to be talking at the FOMC meeting or anything like that. So I don't really expect it to make the market go crazy, but you know, he could mention something bearish and the market could go down. So keep that in mind. Peter says run is popping. Let's check that out. RUN. Wow, it really was there for a second. It was up 2% and starting to move up quite a bit. I will say I see a pretty big resistance here around $22 to $23 on RUN. Looks like there's been some touches there in the past, so definitely keep that in mind. But yeah, it had a lot of momentum today, which is great. Let's see. Bravo says Powell will be dovish, trying to put less pressure on the market. So yeah, that's a really good point, Bravo. You know, I would think he could be like that as well, but just keep in mind that he also has been getting hit pretty hard lately because of how he was transitory and stuff. So at the same time, while he could come out as dovish, keep in mind that if he doesn't come out as hawkish, then, you know, he might get a lot of flack on like Twitter, and like there might be some bad articles saying that he's, you know, just trying to inflate the market or whatever. A lot of people have been kind of hitting on Powell lately, which is funny. You know, I guess once the stocks start going down, everybody just goes against you. But I will say he's done a great job the past couple of years, at least keeping the market up, which is awesome. But as we know, you know, the Fed goes through their cycles, and they're going through a cycle right now, and it's just it's a rate hike cycle. It's what they've done in the past, and they have to do it to try to combat the inflation, and you know, they know what they're doing. So that's the good point. The good point there. Let's see. Bravo says, let's see. Real says, I'm watching Cisco on Wednesday. Don't do anything till Powell talks tomorrow. Yeah, that's probably a good point, Real. You know, it's probably a good idea to be a little careful. I don't expect Powell to make the market go crazy, but you know, there's always that possibility. Of course, it definitely can happen. Bravo says, I like IGV, which is like a lot of good tech stocks, but I'm not into it yet. Let's see. IGV here. Oh, nice. It's like a software ETF. That's nice. Let's see this one on the Max Daily. You know, Bravo, that's actually not a bad one. I'll have to look into the holdings on IGV, but I will say it's dipping down quite a bit here. It fell all the way down to like 258. So what does worry me is that this one is down quite a bit. But I will say just about every big stock, or almost any stock lately, is down almost like 50%, which is kind of bad to say. I can't believe I'm even saying that a lot of stocks are down 50%. But yeah, I guess it's just crazy to see how many stocks are down right now. But either way, I think that this will be a pretty good like ETF to get into here. I think it's definitely cool. And like I said, I'll have to look into their earnings or into their holdings. But for right now, you know, it looks like they're at a pretty decent price point, and they're going down with those big tech stocks. So when we see that recovery, I could see this one coming back up, which is nice. Bravo says they have Microsoft, CRM, Zoom, etc. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's some pretty nice stocks there. Glad to see that they're holding some of those. And I like Bravo that they're diverse. You know, like they have Microsoft, and then they also have some of those growth plays like CRM and Zoom. So sounds cool with the ones you mentioned there. George says Hood did bounce off of 10, like you said, Tom. Let's go see that, George. Robinhood right off of $10. Let's see it. Yeah, wow, it did. Yeah, it ran right back down to 10, right where we bounced on Friday, and started coming right back up. But, you know, now we're coming right back to the downside. I will say, look at Friday's movement. It looks very similar. You know, like we ran down, we touched it, we came up, and then we started slowly going up throughout the day. So if we do start to see a bit of recovery back up here, who knows? Maybe Robinhood will start to come back up to around 1080 and maybe try to break out, because I know they've been going for quite a while now, which is great. Bravo also says, let's see, he expects we could rally actually. So yeah, I mean, that would be awesome if we did rally. I mean, that would be best case scenario, of course, but man, I hope Powell helps the market. It's going to be tough for him. You know, it's it's just a bad time. You know, the market has to come down a little bit too. Like we got to keep in mind that like if we look at the SPY, you know, it's never gonna just go up forever. Okay, so like if we look at like the max daily chart here on the SPY, and I go back in time a little bit, like you can see how overextended the SPY truly was. Like even though we had the COVID crash, it wasn't like really even like a crash. Like we were back up to the COVID prices within like just a few months. You know, like of course it was a short term like pullback or correction or crash or whatever you want to call it, but it was nothing like we saw in like 2008 where it took like multiple years to get all the way back up to the highs. You know, like for example, if the crash would have happened in 2008, if it was the COVID crash, we'd be all the way back up to like 150 by like 2010 or something, but it took all the way till, you know, 2013 to finally get back up to those pre-crash highs there at 2008. So, you know, the recovery was way too quick. And the reasoning is the feds, you know, they had rates at like 0.25%. They had such an easy market going on. They were even buying up bonds and securities and different things like that. It's kind of insane everything that they were doing to pump the market. But either way, it's I feel like that now that they're not doing that, we're going to start seeing more normal movement come back. And, you know, more normal movement means that we're going to see more movement back down too. Because, you know, the market, it has a lot of up and down movement. Like we generally don't go up like we did during COVID. That was a very crazy thing to see how much we recovered there and then over recovered even. So just keep that in mind that in my opinion, it's almost like normal price action that we're pulling back. You know, it's nothing too crazy here. Bravo says it also has Adobe, which is cool. He says, what do y'all think? People say this market is manipulated because it's midterm, because of the midterm elections coming up. We could go higher in the second half. You know, that is another point, Bravo. Just keep in mind, though, that like those midterm elections, I don't think they happen till like November, right? So, you know, who knows? We could end up going up still, but I don't think we will. Yeah, I mean, I guess I see what you're saying. Like the market might come up to try to like, you know, like they might try to like manipulate the market to help Biden get reelected or something. I guess that could be a possibility. I will say, Bravo, I know that there's some manipulation going on in the market, of course, but what I will say is that I try not to worry too much about all the manipulation going on because in the end, we can't control any of it. You know, like if whether it's manipulated or it's not, we have to just try to look at it as objectively as we can. And I try not to put my tinfoil hat on too much when it comes to market manipulation related to politics and stuff. I believe markets are manipulated more of towards like billionaires and stuff like that who just have a lot of money in the market and people who have the most control, obviously. Like, I don't think that like Pelosi and people are out here like, you know, totally like manipulating the market or anything. Now, I think it's possible that they definitely are, but at the same time, I feel like people like Powell and people like that make a much bigger difference. I will say I hope it doesn't get manipulated heading into the election, but we'll have to see what happens. And honestly, Bravo, like if the market did start coming back up, you know, like we did just take a big downturn. So, you know, like if it came up a little bit, it would just be kind of natural, you know? So I don't think that there will be any crazy manipulation because of the election, but you know, we'll have to see. I mean, anything can happen. So definitely keep an open mind with that. But yeah, guys, definitely let me know any stocks you want to see today. Definitely let me know in the comments. You know, there's lots of stocks coming back up into the green, which is great. Keisha says DraftKings is out of the $10 slumps. Let's go check that out. Good old DraftKings moving back up today. Yeah, this looks great, Keisha. I'll take it for sure. It's up 2.3%. We're almost back up to $13 a share, which is awesome. So yeah, we're moving off that $10 support very well. Yeah, glad to get out of the slumps there. It seemed like a lot of these growth stocks were just like stuck down in the mud, Keisha. But hey, it's coming back today and has a lot of momentum, I'll say. You know, it ran up to 1347, then pulled back a little bit. But I will say, like, we're holding up very, very well around $13. So I'll take it. It's definitely some great movement here today. And lots of growth stocks are moving good today. You know, at least they were moving good at market open. I've noticed like Neo's coming up in the green, which is awesome to see. Yeah, look at Neo. They're actually approaching their high of day right around $15. So throw Neo on your guys' watch list here. I think you guys could maybe catch a pretty good day trade if we break above $15. I know Sean last week was saying to maybe help out with like some entries here. So what I would do if I were you guys and I was day trading right now and I was going to look at NIO, I would literally just wait for a nice breakout up above like $15. Like you can see $15 has been a huge area of resistance over the past few weeks. And I really believe that if we move above 15, hopefully we get a nice move up, at least a good enough move to have a quick scalp play. So definitely watch for this. You just need to watch it and wait for the break and then maybe play it. A lot of these growth stocks are running, and I will say it's about to break like right now. So, maybe if you guys are interested, go get that one going. But either way though, lots of these growth stocks are moving. George says check out Mmat today, Meta Materials, and wow, they are coming up, George. Pretty nice, actually. They're up 12.6%. I will say this one's share price is a little bit too low for me. I like them, but I just don't think it's anything too crazy, George. Let's see the max daily chart here. Yeah, I mean, the max daily chart looks pretty rough, obviously, with Mmat. They've had 2 great green days in a row. Actually, like 1, 2, 3, 4 pretty good green days. That first green day down there was a pretty big like bullish hammer there, so that was a pretty cool candle. Honestly, that could have been a good little technical setup, back to the upside if we would have seen that. But either way though, great call out there, George. It's running up, and hopefully this one keeps moving with momentum today. It looks like it's trying to come back, and if it keeps going, it'll definitely be a huge one to watch run. I'm also noticing today, guys, that these oil plays are going insane. Look at Oxy. Oxy's up to 67.47 here. Is it breaking? Yes, it is. It's making new highs. So, hey, guys, give me some W's in the chat for good old Warren Buffett here. Warren Buffett has been buying up Oxy on the way up this whole entire time. And, he's been buying billions and billions of dollars worth of it. And I will say a lot of people have been wanting oil to fall back down. But as we can see, Oxy continues to do well. So, go ahead and throw me some W's in the chat for my guy Warren Buffett. As we know, that guy is great. He's been really good the past year, I guess I could say. I know he had that blunder with some of those airlines during the COVID crash, but I know he's made a lot of money on Apple, and this was a pretty good trade so far on Oxy. I'm curious how long he's gonna hold it for, but I mean that's awesome to see that Oxy's moving up this much for him today. Hopefully some of you guys followed along with some of these oil plays, because I will say, even before they started running, I mean, I think they were looking like pretty good setups. Personally, I was really bullish on them for a while. I will say, though, I was not expecting a move back up like this. I was kind of expecting maybe for Oxy to start falling under 60 and to go back down, but man, it's really flying up. So awesome movement for good old Warren, and hey, I'll take it. It's great to see for him, and hopefully that helps him out here. I know that, he's getting old, and a lot of people like to bash on him a little bit, but look at this, guys. Let's go check out good old Warren Buffett's, let's go check out his Berkshire Class A shares real quick. Look at how much of an uptrend Berkshire has been on, guys. Like, it's up to, it hit highs of $544,000 a share, and now we're sitting at like $462,000 a share. But look at the growth over the past like 5 to 10 years. It's been insane. So that's great. Keisha says Zom got a nice little pop too. So let's see that. XOM. Yeah, it did. Yeah, nice little pop. It looks like they might be breaking out pretty soon too. So very good point there, Keisha. Can't forget about Zom or also CVX. I think both of those are, yeah, even CVX is looking great. So great movement out of the oil plays. Bravo says Walmart tomorrow. Curious where it's heading. Yeah, let's check that out. Good old Walmart. Is earnings for them tomorrow before open, or is it after close? Let's see. It's before open tomorrow. So, wow, yeah, definitely keep Walmart on the radar, guys. I have a feeling Walmart might do pretty well. What I really like about Walmart is that they should do pretty well with inflation, you would think. Like I know Walmart tries to keep their prices low and stuff, but with inflation going up, I've been noticing like upticks out of companies like KR and companies like KHC or Kraft Heinz and companies like that. So I'm thinking that Walmart could, have a good earnings report. It's always 50-50 though with earnings, so keep that in mind. But I will say, Bravo, I would lean more towards them doing good, but keep in mind their outlooks and stuff like that also need to come in positive. So there's a lot of stuff to look at with earnings, but as far as it's concerned, I think that it'll be a still a pretty decent way to go at least. So that's good. That's good to see. Walmart's been a pretty solid company the past couple of years. Even Target has been doing pretty good. So I hope they can both start to pop back. Let's see. N says ATER good. Let's see. ATER. Ethereum. Well, yeah, wow, they're at $3.18. Thanks for the call out there, Rome. It is a penny stock. It's not my favorite play, but what I do like about ATER, it looks like it's consolidating pretty good down here around support. So I like that. And if it does start to break, these penny stocks can start to really run back up. ATER has been kind of going down with a lot of these growth stocks and stuff. And, if it does start to pop back, I think it could start to run up. What I will be careful with, though, be really careful, Rome, because obviously ATER is just very low priced. And keep in mind that IV is very, very high, up around 250%. I would probably recommend playing shares with this one rather than options. But either way, I think that it's a pretty good way to go. Let's see. Trading Lifestyle or Peter says oil only at $108 a barrel. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, only 108, Yeah, I think that's pretty high, Peter, personally. But, yeah, either way, I think that's still pretty high. And, the longer oil stays up above 100, the more money that these oil companies are going to make. That's the thing. Oil, just as long as it stays up, those gasoline and oil companies will do pretty well here. So, looking at, like, CL here, though, crude oil, you can really see the uptrend ever since COVID. So whenever COVID happened, crude oil futures even went negative on one of the contracts that were expiring, which is insane. Like, you could have gotten paid to buy oil. I mean, that's pretty crazy. But either way, you can see how the low on the chart says $6.50. Now we're all the way up to 110. The growth has just been insane with crude oil. At some point, I would have a feeling that crude would start to come back down. But what does suck is that, like, with electric vehicles and stuff like that coming out, that could also, like, lower demand on oil, which in the end can make price start to go back up, so we'll have to see what happens. But, like, if the oil companies are making, like for example, like if we start to see Exxon and all those companies start to lose a lot of profits, they might have to start hiking gas prices and stuff to try to make up for those losses eventually. And that's what I'm worried about in the future. But for right now, obviously it's a different type of market. So, we're still obviously still in like the older style of oil market. Once the EVs get more integrated, it's going to really shake up the oil industry. So I can't wait to see what happens with oil over the next few years. It's going to be a very interesting thing to look at. And even today, even the past few months, it's been a very hot commodity. So, good thing we got into oil today. It's a pretty good conversation piece. And, there's lots of different stuff related to oil, especially Russia, Ukraine, OPEC, and all of those countries. They make a big difference as well. They honestly almost make more of a difference than the United States makes. So, I guess you can take that however you want. But, yeah, OPEC and OPEC Plus really have a big hold on the oil market. So that'll be pretty big over the next few years, depending on what happens with Russia and everything. So who knows? But George says, nice setup on Roblox today. Let's check that out. Good old Roblox. Yeah, it does look nice, George. It's breaking out. We're up above $34 now. We broke above that high of Friday. So I'll take it. This is great movement, actually. It's starting to move up in a pretty nice way. Look at this 1 year daily chart. I mean, it's been looking awesome ever since that low down there around $20 to $21. Yeah, it's moving great. So I'll definitely take that for Roblox. I mean, they were getting destroyed, guys. Like, look at how drastic Roblox was selling off. But hey, I'll take these 4 green candles. It's definitely nice to see that happen. and to see the nice movement finally coming in today. And I actually have another stock here that is coming back to the upside, which is Corsair. They're another one that's been going up 3 days in a row, starting to break out pretty good today, and it's just looking great. You know, these recoveries are awesome to see. I know that obviously it's nothing too insane whenever you look at like a max daily chart. Like there's still a lot of room to go, but you know, if this is the bottom, it'll be great. So hopefully this is the bottom on some of these growth stocks, and I'm not trying to say it is the bottom, but if it was, I would definitely be happy with it, especially on stocks like DraftKings. I mean, they were at like $10 a share. I mean, I would have never expected DraftKings like a year ago to say that they were at $10, but I mean, you know, sometimes that happens with the way valuations and everything go. And I will say, you know, it seems like Hindenburg and some of those people were kind of right about DraftKings and some of those companies. And I know DraftKings will probably end up coming back, but you know, I'm sure Hindenburg has made quite a lot of money on them the past, you know, 6 to 7 months. Looks like Twitter, I know they're also kind of going down, and Hindenburg put a pretty bad report out about them, and they're kind of worried about the Twitter deal getting restructured. So that's another negative that we're going to have to, you know, keep in mind for the next few years, is that Twitter deal can always get restructured. And well, I should say for the next few weeks, you know, this Twitter deal can always have something weird happen, like we saw last week at the end of the week. You know, Elon Musk put the deal on hold, and ever since he put the deal on hold, it's been obviously Twitter stock has been all over. Like, look at it. It fell down to 33 in after hours that day. That is a terrible move to the downside. So just be really careful trading Twitter right now. I think that's going to be a really tough thing to look at. And let me know in the comments what you guys think about Twitter. You know, like, are you guys happy that Elon's buying Twitter? Because I know that there's a lot of conflicting viewpoints out there. Like, some people just seem to hate Elon Musk no matter what. And, you know, I'm someone who, I like Elon Musk. I think he's pretty awesome, and I like him. But hey, I respect everybody's viewpoints. Like, let me know in the comments how you feel. Like, do you think he's a billionaire? Like, do you think he should be giving his money to charity or something instead? If so, let me know. Or, you know, if you agree and you think that Tesla and stuff like that is good for the world, then, you know, then I think Elon's a pretty good guy for doing Tesla and for trying to go to space and everything. Like, Tesla's great. You know, it's going to be big for the future in, you know, reducing emissions and everything like that. Now, some people also argue, well, you know, those batteries and everything like that, they cause a lot of pollution to make and stuff. So that's always big there. But yeah, just let me know in the comments how you guys feel about good old Elon. It seems like everybody has a different opinion on him. So can't wait to see what opinions come flowing through the chat here. But yeah, Tesla stock is starting to dip back down a little bit today. Actually, it's slightly moving down, and nothing too bad. Let's see. Bravo says oil to crash. I think it's not a good time to buy when it's all-time high. It will go higher, but will crash eventually. Not sure what big negative catalyst for oil, but maybe Russia reaching solution. You make small money by buying, sell. You make money by buying high, sell higher. But you can make big money buying low and sell high, especially talking about ETF like VOO and IWM. For me, oil buy should have been last year, not this year. Yeah, I agree with that, Bravo, for sure. You know, I think that's a really good point there. I don't think you guys should be out here buying shares of Oxy, you know, all the way up here at highs. I really don't. But I am someone who was a buyer down here. You can see I have a ton of supports and stuff, and I was actually in some of these oil plays, and I got out a little bit early, but still, you know, I still did decent on some of them, but they came back pretty well, and they moved up in a huge way here. So, yeah, it's one of those volatile things, Bravo. I'm with you. I don't think I'd buy right here either. You know, if we do see a bit of a dip back down, then maybe I'm a buyer a little bit lower. But, yeah, I agree. I don't think that buying right now is the way to go. But what I will say was interesting to me, Bravo, is that Warren Buffett was buying Oxy pretty high, and that was interesting to me because I was sitting there thinking, like, you know, Warren Buffett's usually a guy who does buy low, sell high, so I was kind of curious why he was buying up here so high. He must have some type of insight on oil and how much profits they're going to make or something. Like, obviously his team of analysts is very good, so I don't know, maybe Oxy will keep running for the next few months. like I said, as long as oil stays around 100, we'll be fine. But if oil goes back down to 50 or something, then obviously we'll be seeing a bit of a different market. And oil is very volatile, so we could definitely see big moves up and down a lot. So yeah, I'm with you though, Bravo. Really good point. I don't think I'd buy oil up here either. I think that's crazy. Let's see. Snowy says Elon should just forget about Twitter and focus on Tesla and SpaceX. Yeah, I mean, you know, that could be a good point. I mean, it's obviously gonna take some of his energy away from Tesla since he's gonna be going into Twitter. So yeah, I'm glad to see your opinion on that one, Snowy. Thank you for putting it out there. Hopefully he focuses on Tesla and SpaceX. Personally, to me, Snowy, if he starts getting bigger with SpaceX and they get going and like going to Mars and, you know, going to the moon and everything like that, then I think it would be awesome. And to me, one of the first things we need to do in order to go to Mars is first we need to go to the moon, because what we can do at the moon is we can launch from the moon to Mars. So like pretty much what we would do, you know, like it takes a lot of fuel capacity and stuff like that to get out of our atmosphere. So if we could launch from the moon straight to Mars, it would be a lot better, and you wouldn't have to use up as much fuel burning through our atmosphere. So, you know, there's lots of crazy stuff for the future here, Snowy, but, you know, I'm with you. Hopefully he focuses more on those, and I will say I think some of these space stocks will start to be better over the next few years, even other stocks like RKLB. Like, look at Rocket Lab. It's been kind of coming up off of lows the past few days. It's been kind of having one of those growth stock moves, so that's interesting with them. ASTR has kind of been coming back a little bit too, just like some of the growth stocks. So I'll take it. You know, if the growth plays keep running up and then some of these space stocks start following along, I'll definitely be looking at that too. Let's see. Bravo says, I think tech is the best buy. But buy on the drop, not on green, LOL. Yeah, definitely. Always buy on those dips. And right now, Bravo, we're in a pretty good dip. So I think it's a pretty good time for people to be buying up some of these tech stocks. I mean, you know, there's a lot of tech stocks out there. Even Apple is pretty low right now. Nvidia is super low. AMD, I mean, AMD's coming back a little bit, guys. Looks like we might have missed our shot on AMD. They were all the way down around 84. Now they're almost back up to 100. So, I mean, it's just been insane. AMD is kind of forming a really nice support here. So maybe we'll see some of these big tech stocks start to come back and bring the market back up. That would definitely be great. Let's see. Bravo says, what is ARKX doing? Very curious. Oh, no. Oh, no. Let's see. Oh, wait. Hang on one second. Peter says, AMD taking off like on Friday. Market's working towards going positive. Yeah, they are. They're working towards going positive, and you're right. AMD is breaking out. It's breaking above that high of Friday, which is great right now. Hopefully it keeps running. You know, it has a lot of momentum, and a lot of stocks are running up. So good point there, Peter. Glad to see AMD running up. But going back to ARKX here, the ARK Space Exploration ETF. Let's go see how this one looks on the Max Daily. Oh no, guys, this is not good to see here. I mean, it's down a lot. It's not down as much as ARKK, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it's down as much as ARKK, but still, ARKX is not looking good at all. Man, Bravo, it's insane. Whenever you go look at ARKX's holdings, it's so weird because they're holding stocks like John Deere and stocks that you would never have expected would be space stocks, but I didn't even realize this, but John Deere deals a lot with like GPS communication and stuff like that because of how, you know, farm equipment is ran with like AI and satellites and stuff like that now. So pretty crazy, but yeah, it's insane to see ARKX here. That is not good. This could be a pretty good dip buy though, you know, if the space sector starts to boom. Personally though, I feel like that we're a few years away from that still. I think it'll take a little bit longer before we finally see a big boom out of some of the space stocks. But yeah, you know, if you guys are, how about this? If you guys are excited with space stocks, hit that like button. You know, I know space stocks should be pretty good, and you know, who knows? Maybe even SpaceX will come onto the market over the next few years. That would be awesome to see. I don't think it will though, because I think Elon wants to keep SpaceX private because there's a lot of advantages to having a private company over a public company. Now, of course, there is some advantages to a public company as well, but, you know, private companies, as long as they are doing okay with cash, they should be okay. So, yeah, I think that's very interesting, but smash that like button if you guys like the space stocks. I think they definitely could do well over the next few years, and I think space will be a very big sector eventually, and the stocks that I'm waiting for revolving around space is going to be space mining stocks. So, in my opinion, so just think about this, guys. Like, we're going to have to put on our tinfoil hats here for a second. So, if we're looking at outer space here, and we're looking at the Earth, what's one of the biggest things everybody always says with the Earth? You know, that we're going to run out of natural resources. What are we going to run out of? We're going to run out of oil. We're going to run out of metals like steel and silver and copper and, you know, coal and what have you. You know, that everyone's been saying that. Like, we're going to run out of our resources. Our ozone layer, you know, our atmosphere is going to slowly get deteriorated because of all of our emissions and stuff like that. Well, if we're able to do manufacturing on other planets and stuff, it'll be a lot better. You know, like, imagine if we just put a bunch of factories on something like Mars, for example, you know, then all that pollution is on Mars, you know, it's not on Earth, you know? So the Earth could be a lot better of a place if we can get established in space on some of these other planets. And of course, you know, it'll be hard to ship things back and forth through space, but, you know, hopefully they would have a nice system going, you know, obviously over the next, like, you know, 50, 60 years or whatever it is. You know, obviously they'll get a little bit of a system going, but I'm just pointing that out there because as far as, like, you know, the Earth goes, you know, I know a lot of people are always talking about clean energy and stuff like that, but, you know, going to outer space will make the Earth such a cleaner place. It'll be a very big deal, I think, whenever that finally does happen. So, but yeah, I think the space sector will be great, and I think over the next 10 to 20 years, we'll start to see it pick up a lot more. And I think it's really cool that there's more private space companies like ASTR and, you know, SpaceX and RKLB and different companies like that. I think it's really cool. Even SPCE, Space Tourism, like, I think they're all pretty cool. You know, it's like an emerging sector, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. Just be really careful with these current space stocks, though. I think that they will be very, very hard to trade here for the next few years. They're probably going to be a lot of up and down movement and stuff like that. Trading Lifestyle says Amazon Prime 1-day shipping from Mars to Earth. that would be hilarious, Peter, if we saw that happen. That would be hilarious. 1-day shipping. Wow. I'll tell you what, Peter, I ordered a shaker cup for working out from Amazon the other day, and it arrived the same day I ordered it. It arrived within like 4 hours, and I was blown away. But either way, that's hilarious there, Peter. 1-day shipping from Mars to Earth. If we could do that, I mean, we'd be able to travel anywhere, Peter. We would have some like light speed capability or something. That would be absolutely nuts. But yeah, SPCE is kind of upticking today, though, guys. You know, actually, interestingly enough, we're talking about space, and some of the space stocks are doing okay, which is pretty cool. But getting into some of these other stocks here today, going back into some of the big runners here, George says Roblox lifting off, and it really is. It's running up to $36 a share, and man, I'm glad to see Roblox coming back. Like, this stock has been running lower and lower day by day, but hey, it's coming back up now with a lot of momentum, and I'll take it. You know, it's been a while since we've seen these stocks run up in such a big way like this, and looks like they're doing you know, very well today. So definitely glad to see that. I know some other stocks that are doing pretty well on my watch list so far. I know we talked about a couple of them were Corsair. Neo's doing very hot today as well. BLNK is also up like 5%. I will say Blink actually just broke above Friday's high within the past like 5 minutes. So throw Blink out here on your guys' charts. I think that could be a pretty good one to trade today if we continue to see this upwards movement. Other growth stocks like Blink charging, Charge Point, being Charge Point here, RUN. Some of these other like clean energy plays have been running up today. So I think that, you know, seeing Corsair, seeing Blink do pretty good with Charge Point is pretty good. You know, I think that's showing that a lot of these stocks are moving up in sympathy, which is pretty good today. I'm also noticing like Lucid is kind of straddling their high of last week here, right around like $18.50. They slightly broke above that this morning. Kind of, like I said, kind of straddling it right here a little bit. We'll have to see if maybe they can start to, you know, break out. That would definitely make for some good price action if Lucid started running a little bit. I think that could be a pretty good play for today, actually, if we saw it break out. It's just right now, a lot of these stocks are kind of stuck up here at the top. They're not really, you know, breaking out in any huge ways. Let's go back to DWAC because I noticed they were starting to run back up ever so slightly here. They're like breaking back up above 44. Who knows? Maybe they'll start to get like a second uptick today. I know they've been doing pretty well today ever since Twitter's been kind of falling off, which is interesting to see. But as far as stocks moving to the downside today, we do have some big ones, guys. And I wanted to point out that Shopify is pulling back a lot. Like, I will say Shopify was running up with some of those growth stocks the past couple days, and it had been kind of like exploding. And now we're pulling back like 5%. I don't think the pullback is too big, but still, you know, 5% is never good to see. I will say, though, we've been up a lot the past couple days. We went from 308 up to 408 within like 24 hours, actually. So keep that in mind with Shopify last week. It had a big, what was that, 25% move? Like, if you would have bought this at 8:30 in the morning on Thursday, or I should say like right at market open Thursday, and then you sold it just after market open Friday, you could have seen like a nice 32% uptick. That is a huge move, guys. So that is, wow, that is big. George says if Roblox breaks 36, the only resistance I see is up around $40. Let's go check it out. Let's see Roblox here. Up around 40. Let's see. 180-day, 1 hour chart. Yeah, so we're breaking 35. That's a big resistance there, which is nice. Let's see. Yeah, 36 is another one. If we break 36, let's see. I do see another one, George, up around 38. You can see intraday back on Wednesday, back on 420. So Wednesday, let's see, Wednesday, April 20th, it looks like was the last time we hit right around 38. So I would say $38 is another one, George, that, like you said, $40 then after that. But yeah, I mean, so far today, Roblox is really breaking out. It's breaking up above $35, and I will say it's looking pretty hot. So throw it on the radar. It could run up to like you said, maybe 38 or something if we break 36. I think that could make for some really good movement today, actually. Even if we didn't get to 40, George, I think even getting to 38 could be pretty good. So hopefully we continue to see these stocks run up like this. I mean, they're leading my watch list. They're up 9% now. I mean, it's just continuing to explode. Look at this on the 1 minute. It's still going. Wow, I'm surprised I haven't seen you guys say this yet in the comments, but I did just see AMC is now second on my watch list. It's running up today. It's breaking out above $12.50, which is like that high of Friday. So surprised I didn't see any AMC comments yet. You know, it's running up today. It has some good momentum and it's looking pretty hot. So I'm glad to see that AMC is running up like this. Hopefully you guys are happy to see these stocks moving up today. You know, it's more green movement, and it is definitely looking hot so far. And like you guys point out, Roblox is just leading the way here. It's now up 9.4%. It's continuing higher. George, it looks like we're breaking 36 now. Hopefully it's not a fake out. Hopefully we do get that nice run up towards 38. What I will say is that we're already up 10%, so it might be hard to get that nice move up towards 38, but I'm definitely hopeful for it. Given all the momentum that we're seeing so far, I'll definitely take it. And I did also want to point out today, guys, that I'm noticing that a lot of these China EV plays are running. So XPEV was running, NEO was running, LI was moving up. So I just wanted to point that out because I know that sometimes these China EV plays can make for some awesome day trades as well. And they've been pretty hot with these growth stocks running up. So maybe if you guys are interested, some of those Chinese EV companies could be pretty good. I know personally, I've been looking a lot at XPEV over the past couple years, and I would love to see XPEV start to do a little bit better. Obviously, they have a lot of things to work through though, just like Lucid and Rivian do in the United States. But it's definitely interesting to see how these China stocks have been moving. And then kind of getting into other China plays like Baba, they're also starting to move up today. They're up they're up to 88.30 today. On the 5-minute chart, they look like they're just straddling this resistance from last week. Looks like they might try to break out though and head back up to 90 or a little bit higher. But I will say the China stocks aren't looking bad. I still kind of like these for longer term pickups. Like, look at Baba here, guys. I will say Baba has been following this upper trend line forever, it seems like. Let me make it blue just so we can see it a little bit better. So here's this trend line with Baba. It's been following it on the daily chart for years now. Like, honestly, for like 2 years, guys. Look at this. Ever since the high around, let's see, this was October 27th of 2020. Ever since that date, we've been seeing Baba stay continuously below this blue trend line. It might have broken above it momentarily, but it was still right on it just about, and still fell right back down below. So I think this is very important to look at with Baba here. And I have a feeling Baba is going to start breaking this trend line back to the upside at some point. And whenever it does, we might be going back on the uptrend. So I'm hoping to see that happen here pretty soon. And, it's looking like it might be a good dip buy opportunity right now on Baba. I think it'll be pretty good. Let's see. Peter says he believes Ray Dalio's firm invested huge in the China EV company. So, yeah, that could be big there, Peter. I mean, if we start to see more big players get in, it can definitely make for some amazing plays there. George also says Palantir is breaking out. Let's see that today. Good old Palantir. It's just about even on the day. It's like up 0.0%, but we're starting to run up a little bit. It's breaking that high of Friday, and who knows, if this one keeps running, it could start to move. So thanks George for pointing out Palantir. I know it's been a pretty big growth stock over the past couple of years. Like I said though, today it's not really up too much percentage wise, but if we can start breaking out, it can make for some amazing intraday plays. So thank you for pointing that. It's definitely a good play, and I love seeing plays that are breaking out like Palantir. I think that's usually where a lot of the momentum comes into the market at, and hopefully we continue to see more good upwards momentum today. Just keep in mind, it looks like on this 1 minute candle, or on this 5-minute candle here, it's kind of moving all over the place. So it's not fully breaking yet. I would say if we start to break out of like 850, I think then that could maybe be a pretty good price point to watch for Palantir for like a good entry. Like if we break above 850, maybe just enter right there. Might be a little bit easier of an entry, but yeah, even like Facebook is coming back up in the green today, which is great. So seeing lots of these stocks starting to move back up. Facebook's up, Pepsi's up still a little bit today. Looks like it might be getting like a little bit of a second leg. Like they were falling a little bit here over the past maybe like 20 minutes or so, but looks like they're trying to come back now, which is nice. I'm noticing GLD is up in the green a little bit. Nothing too crazy though. I will say, guys, GLD has been really pulling back. I can't believe, like, whenever I sold out of the first half of the GLD options play, I can't believe I sold the first half of it perfectly at the top pretty much. Like, even intraday, it was almost really close to that high up there. So I was really happy to get that first cut on GLD up there really high. That was nice. But ever since then, we've just been crashing back down. And yeah, it just goes to show you guys that these commodities can be pretty volatile, especially with Russia and everything like that. Like gold was really flying up for a while as Russia first invaded, but it really started to kind of like die back down now, which is a little bit unfortunate, but that's the market for you. So that's just kind of how it goes. But yeah, going back to other stocks today, Netflix not looking bad, trying to get some more momentum back to the upside here. Definitely looking pretty good. pretty good. Hopefully it keeps moving up today. Maybe we'll head back up towards $200. I think that would make for an amazing intraday move here. I know lots of stocks like Netflix, they generally like to go up, but it's pretty they're not huge movers is what I'm trying to get at. But what I will say with Netflix, look at that max daily chart. Like, hopefully they start to move more soon, because they have a long way to go, guys. Long way to go back up to 750. Or back up to 700. That's a long move. So they need to have some nice like 20% up days rather than 2 to 3%. Let's see. George says we're going up. Yeah, we are. Yes, we are, George. It's looking nice. Going back to Palantir here. Yeah, it's starting to break out a little bit more there. So yeah, I like it. I like this setup here. Hopefully she keeps running for you. I think that's a really nice call out there. Thank you for pointing out Palantir. If you guys have any last minute stocks you want me to cover or anything like that, definitely let me know. I will say we're going to have some big events coming up this week. Don't forget, Powell's going to be speaking tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely keep that on the radar for tomorrow. That's going to be big. We're going to have retail sales come out tomorrow morning. So that's also going to be a pretty big data point. That could move the market too a little bit. I don't expect anything too crazy to go on, but just keep in mind that could end up being a pretty big point there for the market. So keep that in the back of your minds. Obviously, Powell, whenever he talks, it's always a big event. Like I said earlier, though, I don't think it's anything too crazy this week. It's just going to be a discussion at the Wall Street Journal Future of Everything Festival. So he might mention something about the economy. We'll have to see if he's dovish or hawkish there, but either way, it could end up moving the market. And then, just don't forget, guys, big earnings coming up. Tonight, we have Sundial or SNDL, and then we're going to have TTWO or Take-Two Interactive. Don't forget about those two stocks. They're going to be pretty big tonight. Tomorrow morning, we're going to have Walmart, Home Depot, C, and JD. So definitely have that on the radar tomorrow. But for tonight, SNDL and TTWO look like the plays. Let's see SNDL here. Wow, actually, I will say SNDL is a marijuana stock, and it has had a lot of bullish momentum here heading up into earnings. Look at this movement, guys. This is very nice, actually. It's getting pretty bullish. Keep in mind that SNDL is a penny stock. It's going to be very risky to play, but it has a lot of momentum, and if those earnings go well, SNDL will probably start to explode. So it's going to be very, very risky. I'm not playing it, but it could be a good one to look at. TTWO or Take-Two looks like they're having also a bit of an uptick heading into their earnings. They were kind of bouncing off that key $100 support here. And overall, TTWO has also been dipping on the daily chart in a huge way. I think this will be a really good longer-term pickup here, guys, if you guys like TTWO. Whether you get it before earnings or after earnings or whatever, I think it's at a pretty good price point. We have Peter coming in here saying AMD broke above $98. Let's go see it, Peter. They're up 2.5%. Yeah, wow, they broke out in a big way. Yeah, Peter, it looks like they had a bit of a fake out at 98. They ran above 98 for a second up to 98.17, and then now they're back down to 97.43, 97.45. So we'll have to see if this momentum can keep up. But so far today, it had a pretty good breakout, and I'll definitely take that movement. This was actually my free day trade today. So in the day trading channel in the Discord, I had it that if AMD explodes above 96.50 to 96.57, that we might be able to play this one back to the upside. And the reason I gave 96 or 96.57 was because of that high of Friday. And if you guys would have gotten in on that breakout there, like if we go to this 1 minute chart and you notice it started breaking 96.50 to 96.63, it started breaking it and moving up, you could have scalped that really quickly there for like a quick 5 to 10%, possibly even more on some of those options. So that could have been a pretty good day trade today if you guys would have scalped that one. So definitely keep that in mind. Check out that Discord link down below if you guys are interested in that. But other than that, I appreciate you guys watching today. It's been a pretty good day in the market. we've had some great movers, you know, like Roblox, DWAC, Corsair. They've all had amazing movement today. I know they might be pulling back a little bit now, like Roblox, but you know, they were up 9 or 10% just a few minutes ago. So great movement out of them. Even AMC's running today. AMD, some of the chip stocks were moving. Oil plays were running up like Oxy. So yeah, it's been a pretty good day in the market so far. I will say some stocks weren't looking hot, like Twitter, Shopify, Robinhood. A lot of these stocks were starting to fall back off. But overall, pretty good day. DraftKings was up in the green, so I'll take that. Any day DraftKings is green, I'll pretty much be happy. I appreciate you guys so much for joining up and leaving comments down below and liking the stream and everything like that. It really helps out, and you know, the YouTube algorithms have been really crazy lately, so anything like that really helps the channel get moving. Thank you, Couch. Thanks, Peter, George, Bravo, of course, Keisha, Raymond, Sean, Cornish, Keisha. Oh yeah, Keisha, I named you like 3 times now. We have Real. Thanks you, Real. Going back to the beginning here, Jamie, Vicky, Hunter. Thank you guys so much for joining up today. Hopefully the market keeps running, and let's have a great rest of the week. You know, if this is setting the tone for this week, I'll definitely take it. So let's keep running up here.